You've felt it, haven't you? A presence, soft but undeniable. Something in your heart stirring, not from memory, but from eternity. The angels are whispering now. They say, she has arrived exactly where she was meant to be. Not a minute too early. Not a step too far. You weren't the one who forced this connection into existence. You didn't chase, you didn't demand. Still, here you are, tangled in the vibration of someone who, for reasons even they don't understand, cannot forget you. And no, this isn't coincidence. This is consecration. The heavens saw the moment your soul signed this assignment. Before time had a name, before your body had a form. You agreed to meet him, the one whose spirit would recognize you not by face, but by frequency. He may not say it aloud. Not yet. But he feels it. That pull. That disarming peace in your presence. That way you don't try to fix him, only hold space for who he could be. If only he believed he was worthy. The angels say, she does not remember how many lives she waited for this. But we do. And we will not let her forget her light this time. You are not just in his path. You are the path. What he thought was a detour, what he mistook for a passing encounter, is actually the moment heaven interrupts his story with a new chapter. A chapter where masks fall. Where he sees himself, not in the mirror, but in your eyes. Clear. Exposed. Loved anyway. You didn't come to teach him a lesson. You came to awaken a memory of who he truly is, beneath the roles, beneath the wounds, beneath the fear. Your presence is the permission he's never known how to ask for. You may question the timing. You may ache for clarity. But the plan hasn't changed. Only the readiness. And when the time is right, not even his silence will be able to silence the truth that pulses between your hearts. The angels want you to hear this. Even if he cannot name it, he feels it. Even if he walks away, the path leads him back. And even if you cannot see the way forward, we do. And we are guiding it all. For what has been written in the stars cannot be undone by the mind. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. He doesn't hate you. He fears you. Not in the way you might imagine. Not you the person. You the presence. You the mirror. The angels lean in now, whispering gently. She carries a light that his shadows don't know how to survive. That's why he resists. That's why he withdraws when it feels warm. That's why he looks away when your soul sees straight through him. This isn't about rejection. This is about recognition of a wound he buried long before you. Before you arrived, he had learned how to hide. Behind achievement. Behind smiles. Behind noise. But you see without demanding proof. You feel what he never dared to say. You hear the silence behind his words. And that scares him. The child in him is still waiting for the day someone leaves. And the man? He's built a fortress on top of that fear. It looks like logic. It sounds like distance. But it's just protection, disguised as independence. The angels say, he sees how freely you love. And it awakens the grief of never being loved that way before. You didn't cause this ache. You just reminded him that it still exists. And that it longs to be healed. That's why he goes cold after warmth. Why he says things that don't align with his eyes. Why he chooses confusion when clarity sits at his fingertips. You are not the trigger. You are the invitation. And to accept it, he would have to dismantle the cage he mistook for safety. Some days, he gets close. The words almost come. The vulnerability almost breaks through. But then, a memory tightens its grip. A whisper from the past says, it's not safe to feel. So he doesn't. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he never learned how. Your presence is the door he never dared to open. And he stands in front of it, trembling with the knowledge that stepping through would change everything. The angels ask you to hold your ground in love. Not to shrink. Not to chase. Simply to remain, in truth, in clarity, in compassion. Because the real battle isn't between you and him. It's between his heart and his history. And the only way forward is through. You don't have to save him. Let those words sink in for a moment. You were never meant to lose yourself trying to rescue someone who is still learning how to receive light. The angels are clear. Your flame is sacred. It was never meant to burn out just to keep another warm. There is a quiet kind of exhaustion that no one talks about. The fatigue of loving someone who doesn't yet know how to be loved. The ache of holding space for a heart that keeps locking its own doors. But here's the truth, whispered like a bomb. You do not need to suffer to be spiritual. You do not need to prove your worth by staying through storms you did not create. The sacred work is remembering yourself. He may be a soul your spirit recognizes. But you? You are a soul that deserves to be nourished, cherished, chosen, not just seen through the lens of his growth, but in the fullness of your own becoming. The angels say, she must remember, she is not a lesson, she is a revelation. And revelations are not meant to be erased. You are allowed to rest, to laugh without guilt, to pour into yourself with the same tenderness you offer others. You are allowed to ask, who am I beyond the waiting? Beyond the wondering? Beyond the longing? Because your life is not on pause. The divine isn't holding blessings back until he wakes up. Heaven works in your favor the moment you choose yourself, over and over again. He may return one day, clearer, braver, softened by time. But that reunion, if it happens, must find you whole, not hollowed out by the weight. You weren't sent here to be a placeholder in someone else's transformation. You are the temple, the altar, the miracle, and your joy matters. Take that walk alone. Buy the flowers for yourself. Sing out loud in the kitchen. Let your soul remember what it feels like to be the center of your own light. Because when you stand in your radiance, you stop begging to be seen. And that, dear soul, is when everything shifts. The angels are still working behind the veil. But today they whisper, let her choose herself first, and the rest will rise to meet her. He didn't expect to see himself in you. Not the version he crafted, polished, or protected, but the unfiltered one. The raw one. The self he buried beneath layers of performance and perfection. And now here you are, not judging, not rescuing, just being. And that, dear soul, is the most disarming thing of all. You reflect what he runs from. Not because you try to, but because your presence is honest. And honest light always reveals the unhealed places. The angels say, she is not a mirror of his past. She is the reflection of what's still possible. It's unsettling, what you stir in him. You bring up questions he thought he'd already answered. You expose wounds he thought were scars. You hold space in a way that makes silence loud and distance feel like a choice. He doesn't look at you. He looks through you, because somewhere inside, he knows that who you are is the truth his soul has been whispering about for years. That's why he's overwhelmed. It's not your intensity. It's your integrity. You don't perform love. You embody it. You don't beg to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. And for someone who built their safety around control, that kind of freedom is terrifying. The closer he gets to you, the closer he gets to parts of himself he's tried to forget. So he retreats. But retreating doesn't mean forgetting. It means feeling too much. And the angels want you to know, his confusion is not a reflection of your worth. His delay is not a denial of what he feels. It's just hard to breathe in the truth when you've spent a lifetime surviving on illusion. You cracked something open in him. Not by force, but by simply existing. And now, even when he closes his eyes, he sees you. Even when he says nothing, the conversation continues in his chest. You are the mirror he didn't know he needed. The reminder that love can be real and gentle. That it doesn't have to wound to be worthy. Let that be enough, for now. Let his discomfort be the beginning of his unraveling. Let your presence keep doing what it was meant to do, reflect him, back to his soul. There is a shift happening, subtle, sacred. You might not see it in his words, not yet. You might not hear it in his tone. But the angels assure, the seed has cracked. The light is getting in. He wakes up differently now. There's a pause before he picks up his phone, a silence that asks deeper questions. There's a flicker in his thoughts that wasn't there before, your name, like a prayer he doesn't know he's saying. Something inside him is remembering. It's not grand or dramatic. It's quiet, like dawn. But the awakening has begun. You are not waiting in vain. You are witnessing the first breaths of a soul beginning to see. The angels say, his dreams carry your voice now. His peace tastes like your presence. He cannot return to the numbness he once knew. There's a haunting in his calm. He laughs, but he wonders why it doesn't reach as deep as it used to. He's surrounded by people, but none of them feel like home. Because home now has your voice in it. This is what awakening looks like, not certainty, but restlessness. He thought he could move on. But he didn't realize you weren't just a moment. You were a mirror of the life he truly desires but never dared to believe he deserved. You've ignited a longing in him. Not for fantasy, but for truth. Not for escape, but for depth. He may not know how to navigate this yet. But his soul is shifting its weight, rebalancing itself toward what is real. That's why he's been quieter. Not because he's absent, but because he's listening to what his heart has been trying to express since you entered the room. You didn't come to convince him. You came to awaken him. And now the echoes of your presence are shaking the walls he built around his tenderness. Let him feel it. Let the awakening unfold in its own time. Because when the soul begins to stir, nothing can silence it again. He leaves. He returns. He disappears. He lingers. And you, in the ache between his presence and his absence, ask yourself if you're the one who breaks things. But the angels speak gently now. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. This rhythm, this coming close and then pulling away, it's not a punishment. It's a pattern. A loop his soul hasn't yet learned how to escape. He touches your light, feels its warmth, and recoils. Not because it's wrong, but because it's real. You are not his confusion. You are his clarity. But clarity demands confrontation. And he is still afraid of what he'll have to let go of in order to stay. The angels want you to understand, he is not choosing to hurt you. He is choosing what he knows. And what he knows is fear. Each time he turns away, it's not rejection, it's a retreat into what's familiar. Into a version of love he believes he deserves, one filled with distance, delay, and detachment. But your presence disrupts that narrative. You don't demand. You don't chase. And that disarms him more than any argument ever could. You are the calm he never learned to trust. So he tests it. Over and over. Not to break it, but to see if it will withstand him. And still, you remain. Not because you're weak, but because you've done your own healing. Because you know that love isn't always neat, but it's always a choice. And yet, this is not an invitation to wait endlessly. This is a reminder, each cycle is his mirror, not your prison. The angels are working with him, loosening the grip of his patterns. Whispering in the silence, you cannot outrun what was written into your soul. One day, the loop will end. One day he won't just return, he'll stay. Not because you waited, but because you released. Until then, don't shrink to fit the pauses. Don't dim to soften the distance. You are the constant, the gravity. And gravity never chases. It simply pulls. He doesn't know how it happened. How your name became the balm for everything he never told anyone he was hurting from. How your gaze makes his chest tighten, not with fear, but with unfamiliar tenderness. The angels say, she carries the cure in her silence. She heals by simply being. He never asked to be seen this deeply. And yet here you are, not fixing, not forcing, just loving in a way that feels like surrender, like sanctuary. You don't ask for more than he can give, but your presence asks him to be more than he ever thought he could be. It's terrifying. It's healing. He may not have words for it. He may not even understand what's happening inside him. But his soul does. It recognizes the medicine. The medicine is your patience. The medicine is your honesty. The medicine is the way you leave the door unlocked, even after he's been gone for days. Not because you expect him to come back, but because you believe in what's real. Love, as the angels reveal it now, is not loud. It's not a performance. It's a steady current, a heartbeat that maintains its rhythm even in the absence of sound. Your love has been seeping into his cracks. The broken places. The ones too weary to ask for help. And somehow, without declaring anything, he's healing. That's why he softens when he hears your name. That's why your memory lingers when the world goes quiet. Because you, beloved soul, are not just someone he knows. You are someone who remembers him, even when he forgets himself. And that kind of love rewires everything. The angels say, she does not need to try. Her light reaches where no hands can go. So keep loving as you do. Not to earn, not to prove, but because it's who you are. Your love is a medicine no one sees coming. But he feels it. Every day. And it's changing him. It was never random. The timing. The place. The feeling that wrapped around your chest the first time your soul brushed against his. You thought it was coincidence. The angels knew it was the call of a divine thread, pulled taut between lifetimes, finally made visible. They say, she was sent, not stumbled upon. She is the lighthouse, not the passing ship. This journey has never been solely yours. It has been orchestrated, delicately, deliberately, by hands you cannot see, but whose fingerprints are on every turn. That message you received out of nowhere. The sudden urge to reach out. The song that played when your heart was breaking. These weren't just signs. They were coordinates. Heaven has been guiding you both, even when he couldn't recognize the voice. Even now, when his steps seem hesitant, when his eyes search for exits, the angels show he is not lost. He is learning how to walk by light, not fear. And you, dear soul, are being led as well. Not into more waiting, but into more trusting. The path doesn't ask for your certainty. Only your openness. Only your willingness to keep walking, even when you can't see what's next. You are not alone in this. He is being nudged toward the truth, in dreams, in silence, in the ache he can't name when he thinks of you. And when the time aligns, he will know. Because the divine doesn't delay. It prepares. The angels whisper now, what she cannot see yet is blooming beneath the soil. We are not still. We are sowing. This is your permission to rest in faith, not in fear. To trust that what is meant for you is not fragile. It will not miss you. It will not pass you by. You were not put on this path to be forgotten. You were placed here to remember. And heaven is walking every step beside you. For the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard. Isaiah 52 verse 12, he wants to love you. He may not say it. He may not show it in ways you've been taught to recognize. But the longing is there, buried beneath the layers of protection, tucked behind every silent pause. The angels say, he's never met someone who made him feel safe enough to tremble. Because that's what he does around you. Trembles. Not in fear of you, but in fear of what you awaken. You don't just touch his heart. You expose it. And for someone who has survived through control, that kind of vulnerability feels like danger. He wants to love you. But his wounds still argue with his desires. They whisper, she'll leave. She'll see too much. She'll need more than you can give. So he hesitates. Not because his love is weak, but because his walls are still strong. You've noticed it. The way he avoids depth when you get too close. The way he pulls away after a moment of softness. These aren't games. These are instincts. Trained responses from a lifetime of guarding what hurt too much to reveal. The angels want you to understand. She is the first to make him believe that love doesn't have to hurt. But belief takes time. Especially when pain has masqueraded as love for so long. He's learning to trust you, not because you asked, but because your presence keeps showing up without expectation. And that constancy is slowly dissolving his defenses. He wants to tell you the truth. That your laugh disarms him. That your stillness makes him feel safe. That your presence, even in silence, is the only place he's ever felt seen without having to put on a performance. But vulnerability requires surrender. And for him, surrender still feels like a risk. So he hesitates. But inside, he is shifting. The walls are thinning. The truth is pacing in his chest, waiting for permission. And one day, when he finally understands that love doesn't mean losing himself, he'll hand you the key. And it won't be a whisper. It'll be a revelation. The angels are preparing that moment. Even now. Not every story ends the way we imagined. But every soul finds what it needs, if it dares to surrender. The angels gather now, not to promise an ending, but to bless a beginning. One that is softer, quieter, and more sacred than control could ever provide. You've done what many never have. You've loved without attachment, waited without losing yourself, believed without demanding proof. The angels whisper, she held space for love, not because she needed it to be returned, but because she became it. This is the truth that transforms everything. You are not here to convince. You are here to radiate. You are not incomplete without him. You are whole, with or without the outcome. He may find his way back. He may not. But what's unfolding within you is no longer tied to his pace. You are choosing peace now. Choosing to breathe in your own name again. Choosing to be seen not through his eyes, but through the eyes of the divine. You are not waiting anymore. You are welcoming. Welcoming the right love. The right season. The right alignment that honors your depth and matches your soul's wisdom. The angels say, she let go, not because she gave up, but because she grew wings. And with those wings, you are rising. You're not above the ache. But you're beyond the illusion that love must come with suffering. You've loved enough to know, the real thing doesn't shrink you. It expands you. So now, you open your palms. You trust what stays. You bless what leaves. And you walk forward, not with closure, but with clarity. Because you finally understand. What is truly yours is not delayed. It is being prepared. And when it arrives, it won't need to be chased. It will simply stay.